Hello, everyone, and welcome to our webinar. First, we will be talking, my colleague Eva, who is the head of MA PhD Study Affairs Office, will be shortly talking about the MA program. And then I will be shortly talking about the accommodation, and then I will give the floor to our amazing students who joined us today. So we have Klaus, who is first year MAER student, who will be talking about accommodation. Then we have Davit, who is second year MAER student, who will be talking about his experience at CERGE-EI and with the studies. And then we have Lusine, who is also second year student at the same program and who will be talking about life in Prague. So just a few technical notes. Please keep your microphone muted for the duration of the webinar. You can submit your questions to the chat. In the meantime, if they come to your head, you can just write them to the chat. And then at the end of the webinar, there will be Q&A session. So then we will answer all of your questions at the end. And also at the end, you are very welcome to unmute yourself, turn on your camera if you would like to, and talk to us about anything that you would like to know about the program. Just for your information, this webinar is being recorded, so just be aware of it in case you would turn on your camera or something that maybe your face will somewhere show. So I will now give the floor to Eva to introduce the program shortly.
Thank you, Zdenka, for a nice welcome. So my name is Eva, and I'm head of the PhD and Master in Economic Research Study Affairs Office. And I will just do a brief overview of the Master in Economic Research program right now. So the program is 2 years and consists of the very first year, where students usually are doing the compulsory subjects, which is the basics as macro, micro statistics, and then econometrics in the spring semester. During the first year, students also choose their supervisor and the topic for master thesis, which is basically the main goal of the Master in Economic Research program. In the second year, the student for each semester chooses the elective courses that are currently offered and also focuses on writing the master thesis seminar. The program ends either in June or in September with defending the master thesis. Another thing that I would like to say about it, that during the studies we offer writing classes that should help all the students that are currently at the CERGE-EI with the writing on an economic topics, which should then successfully end up with writing the thesis. During the writing the thesis, there are also mock defenses where a student has the opportunity to present the work prior actually to defending and those successfully graduating from the Master in Economic Research program. So I think that's the basic description very quickly. Unless Denka would like me to say more, then I would like to have the floor going to the students, which I consider more important than me describing the program. So Zdeni?
Okay, thank you very much, Eva. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them to the chat and we can go over it in more detail at the end of the webinar in case you would like to. So for now, let's take a look at the accommodation. So our students usually live at Charles University dormitories, typically at this one dormitory, which is called Hostivař. And this is usually the easiest choice for you when you want to come to Prague from a different country, since we can arrange the accommodation for you and also for the visa purposes, in case you're from a visa country, a third country, which you will need to ask for a visa to Czech Republic. You will need to prove that you have a place to stay, that you have a contract. So in that case, also, it makes it much easier for you to book the dormitory than to look for a flat actually while you're not here. So Hostivař is around 30 minutes by public transport to CERGE-EI, and cost is approximately 4,000 per month. It can slightly change year to year, but it shouldn't change drastically. Here are some pictures. The good thing about Hostivař is that there is also a big park very near to the building, so you can also enjoy some nice walks in the nature. So now I would like to give the floor to Klaus, who will share his experience with living at Hostivař.
Okay, thank you again, Zdena, for introduction. Then I'm here to share my experience at living at the Charles University dormitory. So basically, CERGE-EI offers you accommodation at Charles University dormitories, or called Hostivař. And the dormitory is located at Prague 10. And exactly next to the dormitory is the tram and bus station, where comes train, tram and bus. And the price for the room on the dormitory is around 3,900 Czech crowns, or around 160 euros per month. Regarding the transport is very well developed here. Basically, to come to the dormitory from airport is very convenient. Usually, you can use only public transport if you want. It takes around 1 hour, and you need to take a bus, then after that to take a metro, and then to take a bus again to the Nádraží Hostivař, which is next to the dormitory. And if you want to go to CERGE-EI, basically CERGE-EI is located in the center of Prague. So basically is the same as going in the center of the city. It takes you around 30 minutes if you take the train, and also you can take a bus or a metro depending on your choice, which takes around 40 minutes. And a good thing is that you will have also a transportation card, which is very cheap here for students, especially if you are under 26 years old. But more on that when you're here, I guess. Yeah, you will be staying on a double room, and room includes 2 beds. So basically you will live with a roommate. And also in the room is also included the bathroom. So you will have your own bathroom on the room. And then also there is included the bed linen, including sheets, covers, duvet covers, a blanket and a pillow. And also there is 2 closets, drawers, and 2 study tables. Okay, and also the room includes column radiator heating, which is very convenient during the winter. It never stops working. So basically it's all the time warm here. And also you will have access to warm water all the time. And also you will have Wi-Fi, which is pretty fast, and it's EduRoam network, and also Ethernet cable. Here is a photo of the room. This is a photo of my room and my friend's room. And here is also a photo of the bathroom. This is the 2 study tables, and there in the end of the corridor is the 2 closets. And here is a view of the from the window during the winter. Around okay, about kitchen. Yes, kitchen is there is a shared kitchen for the whole floor, and the floor includes around 10 rooms, but it's okay. I mean, you can use it anytime, and there is not a curfew there, so it's okay. And you will also need to share the fridge, and but no utilities are included there, so basically you will need to take everything on your own. And there is 1 stove on the kitchen and 1 microwave, but there is no oven included. And also an advantage is that the kitchen is cleaned by the janitor of the dormitory every morning. And here is a picture in the left of the kitchen, and also in the right. And in the middle are the fridges, free to use from every student of the floor. Okay, and next to the dormitory, there are many grocery shops. 3 main of them are Albert, which is very close, is 8 minutes by walk. Then it's Lidl, which is more convenient, it's cheaper, and it's around 9 minutes by taking a bus. There are 3 bus options, so that's great. And then there is a shopping mall, which is 10 minutes by tram, and you can take tram 26 or 22. Also, dormitory offers facilities like laundry room, which includes a washing machine and drying machine. They cost around 30 crowns per use, which is not so expensive. It's cheap. And also there are available electrical appliances, which includes vacuum cleaner and iron. But also in the dormitory, you will have study rooms. If you need to use them, they are for free. And also is the dormitory main hall, which you can also study there or spend time with your colleagues. Because here in this dormitory is many CERGE-EI students also living. In the left is the dormitory main hall, and in the right is the dormitory from outside. Also, another advantage that living in the dormitory is that you will have the chance to share and to know many foreign students, which you will get in touch with many new cultures, languages, which is fun. Yes, and there are some frequently asked questions. There is one question: if you can get a single room. There is a small number of single rooms, it's very limited, so it's very hard to find one, but they are basically never available. But when you are here, you can check for that in the Charles University dormitory system. There is a system where you can check. And can you live in the dorm with your family, including spouse, children, etc.? If you have a question like that, I would suggest you to ask the Students' Affairs Office. They will support you regarding that. There is a dormitory for families, but it's very limited. So Zdena should explain you for that more in detail. And does CERGE-EI help you to find an apartment in Prague, and how much is rent in Prague? CERGE-EI offers you accommodation only in the Charles University dormitories, and I can tell you that rent in Prague, it's relatively expensive compared to other cities in Europe. It's around, in average, 10,000, 12,000 Czech crowns. So it's very expensive compared, especially to the dorm. So the dormitory should be very convenient for living during your studies. And thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have some question, I will be here also. Yeah, I would be happy to answer any question.
Thank you, Klaus, again for your presentation. It was very nice. Now I would like to move on to life in Prague. We will have Lusine talking about it, but I will just do a very short introduction to the topic. So I just was thinking about some positive aspects of living in Prague. And I can really tell that it's a very beautiful historical city. You can have beautiful walks, beautiful views, and sometimes it feels like a museum when you walk around Prague, especially the city center, the old town square, and so on. In Prague, there is a very international community. There are many international students, especially at Charles University, which also has Charles University International Club that allows or organizes a lot of events for international students, but there are also many foreign workers, expats that you can meet at cafes and different events that are always happening in Prague. So every week you can really see many cultural events happening. There are always some movie festivals and exhibitions and so on. So if you love cultural events, you will definitely find a lot to do in Prague. So Prague, even though, as Klaus mentioned, the rents are really quite high in Prague, other than that, it's still relatively affordable here. So if you will be living in dormitory, then the other costs are somehow still affordable in comparison to other European capital cities. Prague is also rated as one of the safest cities. It's really quite safe to walk around even in the middle of the night. And then it has reliable and cheap public transportation. We have metro, buses, we have also trams and even boats on some little short ways. You can take actually a boat and it's considered a public transportation. And metro in the working days, it goes every 2 to 5 minutes. So you can expect another metro. So it's really very well connected. It's very reliable, and you can get around the whole Prague with one card. But now let's hear from Lusine. How does she experience life in Prague as a student? So I will again stop sharing, and Lusine, you can share your presentation.
Yes, let me share my screen. And I hope you can see it. And let me put the presenting mode. So, hello everyone. As Dana mentioned, I am a second year MAER student at CERGE-EI, and I would like to talk about my living experience in Prague, because it's already more than a year that I'm living in this beautiful city. And of course, studies are important, but you should always remember that if you want to move to Prague, it's a historical and old city, which if you had the chance, you should experience as much as possible, because there is always some place to explore whenever you're living here. So, but before jumping into the beautiful places that I collected for you to share with you, let's first talk about in more detail about the living costs. As Klaus mentioned, living in the Charles University dormitories is relatively cheap. So it's around 4,000 Czech crowns per month if you live in Hostivař. But if you decide to live in a separate apartment, to rent an apartment or a flat, the cost will be much more higher, like 3-4 times higher than in Hostivař. Next big part of your living costs, like I would say the biggest, is the food and household products costs, which based on our experience is around 5,000 to 7,000 Czech crowns per month, of course depending on your eating habits, and if you like to cook and prefer most of the time cooking at home, this would be like the average cost that you will have to spend on food and household products. And I here put all the biggest supermarket chains of Czech Republic. Of course, as Klaus mentioned, Albert and Lidl are very close to these dormitories, and Lidl is much cheaper option. But in Albert, you would see much more types of products. And of course, Tesco and Billa are also an option. Regarding the transportation, here I put the cost of the annual Litačka pass, which is the discounted price for students. And for students under 26, it's much cheaper, like 1,000, more than 1,200 Czech crowns. But remember, this is the annual price. So if you divide for months, it's even cheaper. And for students who are above 26 years old, it's a bit like 3 times more. But as far as I know, CERGE-EI is also partially reimbursing the transportation costs of this Litachka pass for students above 26. So in the end, it's also cheaper for elder students. And here in the first picture, you could see this is the screenshot of the Litachka application, and it's very easy to get an annual pass. You can easily download this application on your phone and buy the annual pass directly from this application. And it is also helpful, for example, if you want to navigate, you want to go to some place and you do not know what options do you have for commuting, this app could be super helpful. You can simply put the address that you want to be, and the Litachka will offer you all the options of transportation means that you could take. And yes, another cost that you might experience when you live in Prague is the entertainment. Like for average like spending, it could be 3,000 Czech crowns per month. But of course, it highly depends on your lifestyle. If you want to go out a lot to the bars, to the cafes, to the museum, to the cinema, the cost would be even higher. And now let me take you to a little virtual tour around the city. During the first year, it might be a little bit hard to find spare time to go out and to enjoy the city, but during the weekends, and also there are some national holidays, which during those days we are free from school. You can consider just walking in the beautiful city Prague and exploring some spots which are really memorable and worth to be. So the first place in the city is of course the Old Town Square, which is located in the very heart of Prague, and it's really it's almost all the time very crowded because it's a really touristic place. And you can see here is this 2-tower Gothic church of Our Lady Before Tin. This is the name of the church. And also in this Old Town Square is this astronomical clock, which is the third oldest astronomical clock in the world. So these are these 2 monuments which are like worth seeing when you are in Prague. The second place is of course the Charles Bridge, which is like a very old bridge across the Vltava River, and it also like has around 30 statues on the bridge, which give the bridge very unique and memorable kind of style. Another place is of course a Prague Castle. This is a very world famous castle, and it's an ancient one. It is also a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and it's the largest ancient castle in the world. It's a historical complex of buildings, of churches, and also some other kind of basilicas and buildings. And I would recommend you to dedicate one full day whenever you decide to visit this place, because it takes some time to go and check every part of the castle. And also during these national holidays, the entrance to the castle is free. So even you can you could have the chance to get into the castle for free without even buying the ticket. Yes, another spot is this Petrin. It's a hill, And on top of this hill, there is this tall, like Petrin Lookout Tower. And whenever you are on top of it, there is this beautiful panoramic view of Prague opening for you. And yes, there is also this beautiful garden and some historical churches in the garden itself, and also this 200-year-old carousel merry-go-round, which is actually Italian, and it was brought to Prague from Florence. So very good spot to be. Another place is this Trojský zámek, which is near Prague Zoo and also Prague Botanical Garden. I would highly recommend to visit this place during springtime, whenever there is bloom, and this place is like really more beautiful during the springtime, I would say. And yes, I also put some recommendations from my personal experiences of bars and cafes that I like, and I like to go a lot. So the first place is this glass bar, which is on top of this famous Dancing House Hotel. And it's on the very last floor, and it has this panoramic view, which you can enjoy with a glass of your favorite cocktail. And also this Hemingway bar. This is also an interesting place to be, especially if you are a lover of American novelist Ernest Hemingway. Another place from my list. And also, these are my two favorite cafes, Cafe Slavia and Imperial. A good place really to, if you want to grab a cup of coffee and enjoy the beautiful view, especially this Cafe Slavia, which is near the river, and is almost always this old pianist guy who is providing live music in the cafe. So those were kind of my favorite spots in Prague. Of course, there are more, but those are the top of the list. And I personally would recommend the upcoming students to find some time and enjoy the city, as it is really lively and beautiful.
Thank you very much, Lusine. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So I'm Davit. I'm a second-year MAER student, and now I'm going to talk about my experience with the studies at CERGE-EI. Just a quick warning, of course, this is my personal experience. It might be a bit different for others, so I'm just going to share what I have faced during my studies. So first of all, I just compiled for you a set of sweet lies that I guess everyone would love to hear. Things like that studying at CERGE is easy, that you will not have any tedious homeworks, exams that will bother you too much. You will get the highest grades without even putting an effort, just with, I don't know, the swing of a pen. Yeah, and you can leave everything till the last minute and get it done very quickly, and you will have plenty of free time at your disposal. I guess it would really bring joy to hear these things, but of course, those are just sweet lies. And now let's go to the bitter truth. And let's start, of course, with that studying at CERGE is not really easy. I do not mean to scare you, but let's get things kind of realistic. It is not easy. It is a very intensive economics program, since CERGE is it's a research-oriented institution, and it was ranked as top 5% by REPEC in the economic research area institutions in the world. So the program is intensive, and you should have your expectations straight. Of course, you will have some tedious homeworks and exams, as they are especially much during the first year of the studies. mainly they are, let's say, weekly homeworks that you will do, and you will have usually a midterm exam and a final exam for each class that you take. I do not want to say that they are not doable, not at all. If you just put the time in them, you will surely get them done. But yeah, the key thing here is to really put in the time. Surely you will not get high grades without putting an effort. I would say that search and effort are synonyms. If you want to really get high grades, you should put much effort in it. You should try to find all the motivation to go through the studies, because at the beginning it is kind of hard to adapt to the new environment, to the new requirements from the professors, especially because not everyone has the same background. There are many students with different backgrounds at CERGE. Some are come straight from, let's say, they have bachelors in economics and it's easier for them to adapt. But some have backgrounds in even physics or chemistry sometimes. Some students have just mathematical background, which is actually highly favorable to study at CERGE. But it's not the only requirement, let's say. And of course, you will not have plenty of free time, especially again in the beginning. So the hardest part is the beginning of the studies, let's say the first year, because of, as I already mentioned, all the adaptation stage that you have to process. And then you'll find more time, free time for you to enjoy the city, as Lusine mentioned, and everything connected to that. So I would like to talk a bit about the program itself. As Eva briefly introduced, it's a master program for the economic research students, and the program has been newly redesigned this year already, because CERGE is a research-oriented institution. Previously, the master program and the PhD program were kind of interrelated. In my year, in my cohort, we had the same. We're studying with the PhD students. We had the same curriculum. We basically did everything that the PhD students did in terms of classes, the exams. We only skipped the summer semester that they had, and we didn't have some general exams, which are designed for the PhD students. But other than that, our curriculum was exactly the same. We were going to the same classes, to the same lectures, and passing the same homeworks. Now, the new prospective students got a bit lucky, I would say. The program has been redesigned in a way to accommodate all the new students who want specifically a master's degree. So if you want to, let's say you do not plan to continue to PhD, you just need your master diploma and knowledge and skills alongside it, this program might be a good fit for you. Because previously, the master program was kind of meant to prepare you for the PhD, to continue your studies. Of course, you can do it now as well. After completing the master program, you can, well, there is some application process, but after that, you can continue to the PhD track. But if you just need a master's degree, this program is fine now. You can pass it, and it will equip you with much valuable knowledge and skills that are very relevant in today's labor market. If you just want to, after your studies, you want to straight go to the job market, these skills will definitely be highly appreciated by the employers. Yeah, and at CERGE we have, it's very important important point that I want to mention. We have teaching assistants for each course that are ready to help us. Whenever we have a question, so aside, they are kind of alongside with the lectures, we have these teaching assistants lectures who are trying to either solve some problems, like technically solve them with the students themselves, or to kind of go over the material that the professor went during the lecture, but let's say in easier, comprehensible way, so that the students who may have some troubles understanding the professor, they will have the opportunity to ask all their questions to the teaching assistants. And in some cases, it is easier for us, the students, to understand what a fellow student says rather than understand what the professor says, because sometimes they talk more complicated, let's say. So this is a very important point, and they are here to help you. And again, as Eva mentioned, we also have an academic writing center, because at the end of the program, we have to defend our master thesis. And for some students, it might be, they might have some difficulties with the writing aspect. So we have the writing center, which is there to help us, to guide us. We can go to them for any advices regarding the writing, how to formulate your thoughts clear, how to adapt your style to economic writing, because it is also very important to write in a way that the genre expects you from, and in a way that for the people to understand what you mean. So yeah, that's about it. And I would just a quick note about my experience. So I'm already a second-year student, and in the first year, it was quite hard for me to adapt to all the workload that we had. It was a bit more than I expected. I mean, it was, I had my bachelor's just done, and I knew what doing all the homeworks and the exams are like, but here at CERGE, they are a bit more intensive. But the adaptation stage is, let's say, the first semester, and after that, you are already ready to tackle these challenges. And I urge you not to, whenever you face a difficulty, not to just quickly, I don't want to say give up, but you have to be a bit consistent, right? To get through this. Otherwise, the program is a really nice fit for students who want to have a master's diploma in economic research and to work for places like World Bank or the consulting companies. They hire CERGE graduates. They value the CERGE graduates. So that's it from my side. Thank you, everyone. And if you have any questions, I'm here to answer.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much for a nice presentation. Let me just now go over the requirements for the program. So to apply for the MAER program, you should be a graduate of bachelor's program, or you can be student of bachelor's program and finish by September 2023. If you have graduated from bachelor's program, you should upload to your online application your diploma and transcript. If you are still studying, you can upload confirmation of studies where it's indicated when you will finish your studies, most probably, and your most up-to-date transcript. Then the mathematical background, I know there was a question about it. We have it actually on our website. So if you go to the entry requirements section, it's all written there, but I can say it here as well. So it is required for students commencing CERGE-EI graduate studies to know from calculus, convergence of numerical sequences, functions of one variable and many variables, limits and continuity of functions, differentiation and integration, partial and full derivatives. Then from algebra, simple linear algebra, and then from statistics, random variables and probability distributions, foundations of statistical estimation, and inference. Please feel free to check our website. It's all written there to review it and make sure that you know what is required. Then we need, of course, proof of English proficiency. So you are required to upload a certificate to your online application. We accept a certificate from internationally recognized exams such as IELTS, TOEFL, Cambridge exams, but also Duolingo, which is the easiest option because it's available everywhere online. And it's also the cheapest option, and the certificate is available within 48 hours after you finish the exam. Then you need to upload, of course, your up-to-date CV and online application to fill out all the information that is necessary and upload your statement of motivation. Please note that statement of motivation, it's not supposed to be some proposal for a project or for a master thesis. You will develop it while studying at CERGE-EI. This is really just about your previous experiences, your interests, and what would you like to achieve in the future. There is also a guideline for statement of motivation at our website, so you can check that to know what you should include in the document. And then finally, you need to provide email addresses for 2 to 3 ideally academic referees that know you well and that can write some nice reference for you, because this is a very important point of your application. If you're applying and you have studied something else than economics, it's okay, you can still apply. And we do have students from really various backgrounds, as was mentioned by our students who were presenting. Just make sure that you also have some knowledge of mathematics, because this is really needed during the studies. Finally, the admissions process. The program, this revised version of the program, it's quite new. So about half of the applicants for now are admitted, but of course it depends how many applicants are going to apply, and it depends on the quality of applications as well. And the admissions decision is known in the half of April, and you will be informed via the email that you left in your online application. Importantly, the application deadline is March 31st, so make sure to submit your application even earlier if possible, so that I can review all of the documents, and if something needs to be re-uploaded or there is anything missing, so that we can solve it by the deadline, because we need to have all of the documents by the deadline of March 31st. And that's all from us from today's webinar. Thanks again to our students who joined us.